My original plan on this week was to do a follow-up to last week's, just about how to make sure we're all doing the right things and all, and the way to try to go about that was I was going to show a generic sales presentation. It could not have been great because I don't even have other actors. It was just going to be me going through it and pretending as if there are other people there, because I want people to see what a correct presentation is, at least basic facts. There's no way to do it perfect because everyone is a living, breathing beast and it changes all the time and you have to adapt. But I want them to know the core, because the core holds, and at the end of the day, there's certain elements that are going to be touched upon on everyone that are what we sell. And how can you possibly support what people are selling if you don't know what they're selling? I told you I was going to try to attack that beast from a few different ways, and I am. Now that said, I have been asked not to do that back to back, so that will be the next time around. That will be our video. Today is closing technique, and there's hundreds of them. Some people can do, some can't. We've gone over these before. However, I do want to verify my basic number ones and twos. In a You Build It world, the number one close. And by the way, again, I'm not a huge believer in this world of hard closes. I'm not a huge believer of pressure closes. This is not a one-night stand. This is a marriage. We last a long time. Don't put people under with ether. You want them to be very intelligent, very wise, making open-hearted decisions. That said, people have a world of thoughts and insecurities and everything else and go with, and that's minorly going to be our focus. Most common close that I use, and again, I love a soft close, is congrats. And the reason I put congrats instead of congratulations is I don't know how to spell congratulations. And I don't have spell check to fix it for me like I normally do. So, my most common is I use the very, very soft, easy close of a bank close. It's just easy. I mean, at the end of your presentation, everybody's excited, everybody's exhausted. Question is, what's the next step? Well, obviously, it's the old, you got to go back to the original saying, there's three legs to the stool of construction. You got to have money, you got to have land, you got to have plans. So, you know, you got to hunt around, you got to find land. If they don't have land, you could play these things differently. But again, I'm talking the rule, not the aberration. You know, and you tell them, you know, you need to play with your plans and have a rough idea, but don't worry. We got designers who are going to walk you through it. It's going to be great, yada, yada. And so you do whatever they are. If it's, you know, well, your next step is you need to go home and burn down your house because it's ugly. I don't know. But not really ever, by the way. But the main one is your main next step is get pre-approved. No reason to jump through all the hoops. If there's any questions, contact my lender, and you always put your lender info out. And I say that, contact John. Here's his information. Phone number, email, you can call him, you can drop by his office, you can apply online, whatever you like to do, and I'll shoot him your information as well, make sure he contacts you, y'all get together. After that, you have any questions for me, anything you need, anything I'm follow up with, don't hesitate to call. Every single person goes home and they're like, what do you say there? Oh, I wish I'd thought to while I was there. This isn't some one-time off. You're not paying by the hour like I'm a therapist. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me anytime, and I will get back to you. I will be honest, because I'm in meetings like this all the time, email is the best way to get hold of me. As soon as I get out of this meeting, I'm going to go sit down and look at my emails and respond to the people that have contacted me just like that. So if you think of something, don't feel like, ooh, you had to remember it. Just holler, and we'll stay in touch, and I'm very excited. Thank you, guys. That's my close. It doesn't sound like much. Trust me, it is. Because I told them they're going to contact the lender. And I told them I was giving their information to the lender to contact them. And anybody that doesn't think that was a close, let me ask you this. How does it flow if what I say is, hey, you got to get approved first, and I'm going to send your name and address and email and phone number to my lender so he can call you? Oh, heck no. You don't give my personal information out. I don't want to hear from some jerk lender that's always trying to contact me. Heck, we're all terrified of going on one of those websites because they never leave you alone till the day you die. They're going to be, no. Even if you try to do it nice, well, I'll give my lender all your information. No. But you handle it nice, gentle, soft way of, hey, be sure and contact him. That's your next step. Just get pre-approved. It's nice. What a favor you're doing. And by the way, I'm such a hell of a guy. Make it easier. I'll give him your info and make sure he contacts you as well to make sure you get together. Well, that's only sweet. That's only nice. Thank you for being such a helpful person. Thank you for being so professional. Do you see the huge difference in that phrasing and the huge difference of that soft close? Now, here's the truth. Getting somebody to sign a contract can be a harder close. It's a bigger commitment. Getting them to take a phone call from a lender or to fill out an app online is about the same as taking a survey in Cosmo. Well, I don't know. Am I a better lover? Yeah, I mean, it just is. You see them at the airport, you take them. It's just, well, do I? Oh, how exciting. I wonder if they're going to find me worthy. Am I good enough? What do I qualify for? Oh my gosh, you mean I qualify for $300,000? I'd never have more than 250. They love that. So do I. So do you. So does everyone. Who doesn't still get a kick out of getting a credit card pre-approved in the mail? Hopefully you have enough wisdom to cut it up and throw it away before you ever open the envelope. But it's still kind of fun to think somebody trusts you enough that just by signing your name to a piece of mail, they'll give you 10 grand. I mean, you know, it's kind of exciting. If you only qualify for 500, you might feel insulted, but it goes there. I say that because something magic happens at that moment when they find out they're qualified and what they have. I have money. How do I spend it? What do I do? Well, the lender better have a relationship with you and let you know. And you call and say, hey, I heard from John and that you're approved. Congratulations, brother. When do you want to start? Because let's be honest, it's an assumed close and it's an easy one. They didn't do it because they didn't want to start. They didn't do it because they didn't want to build. They did it because they do. So don't force them to say it. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you got approved. Now, how would you like to move forward? Are you ready to make this massive a commitment in your life? No. That's horrible. Congratulations. How exciting. When do you want to start? Do they all say, well, in 5 minutes, I'll be there? No. But some version of, oh, I don't know. Let me talk to, I've had, well, hell, I haven't heard from him yet myself. I want to find out what's going on. Great, brother, no problem. I'll give you a holler again later today or tomorrow. If you got to, call me first. All right. I mean, it just goes that way. The most common is, well, let me talk to Sue. Let me talk to Bill. Well, let me look at the calendar and find out. Always go for the close there. Your close on that one, if they give you the, well, let me get the commitment. Well, let me talk to Bill. Let me talk to Sue. Okay, that'd be great. But hey, just so I can get it penciled, because I'm excited and get going, I want to have a designer with you. What is your day like tomorrow, if it's all good? And we can rewrite it and erase it. I just want to go ahead and get you penciled in. How's 3 o'clock tomorrow? Or if you know they're a late night, I can't do a lot of lates. I can do Thursday or I can do Friday after 6. Which one's best for you? And I'm going to go ahead and schedule it because those book up. It's polite, and don't phrase it that way. Phrase it a little nicer, but get a commitment. Even if it's just a penciled in, I can erase it, there's no real major thing. Get a commitment on the timeline, because they at least owe you the respect of calling you back and telling you to erase it. That means communication's happening. How can you get a close without the communication? All you're doing now, because they've already taken ownership of the assumed close, is scheduling the date. You're not selling signing, that's already sold. All you're selling at that stage is what day are we going to sign? Selling the appointment. Over the next week to 10 days, 2 weeks max, you should be able to close that one. That I would challenge you, and I don't know, I haven't run the numbers, guys, it's a little arbitrary, but I would say that's about 70% of the deals I ever signed were closed with that close. Close number 2. It's a money close. And that is somewhere between 20 and 25% of all deals I signed. And yes, if you do your math correctly, I'm saying every other close I know, every other close I've used is good for less than 5% of the deals I ever signed. If you can get these two down, which by the way, very, very easy and very, very easy, you got 95% of what I have to teach. So much goes into this one that I'm not 1,000% sure how to teach it, so I'm going to do my best. So please, let's take a second, shake, wake up, get your head back in it. If I put you to sleep earlier, pause the tape, do whatever you have to, wake up, because I need you here. Now, if you want this on its simplest, most basic, core nothing level, it is a deferral of planning phase fees. It is a person that doesn't have and I don't know what you charge. You may charge $2,500. I don't think there's anybody less than that. You may charge $7,500. I don't think we have anybody more. I believe the average is somewhere between $3,500 and $5,000, so we're going to use $35,000. So you got a client that you just flat know doesn't have $3,500. You say, well, Jim, what if I agreed, let's just do $1,500 now. I want to do this over here. $3,500 is your planning phase. But instead of writing me a check now, let's do $1,500 now and $2,000 as part of your construction loan. If money is their issue, and trust me, it often is. There aren't any of us that don't want to keep money. And here's my first, number one, pin in the board, pay attention to me. Don't jump to that close. Don't jump to it. If you're not 2 weeks into this one, don't bring this one up. Now, if a client volunteers it, beep, Boolean expression, point to jump and restart and go. Client says, man, I would love to sign with you, but I just don't have the money. Bing, turn the page. All right, let's go here. But if they're not responding to you, if you're just, for some reason, you know you should be closing them and you're not, then go to this one. Don't jump too fast. Don't offer this early. Because trust me, the guy that gives you $1,500 now is nowhere near as committed as the guy that gives you $3,500. And your electric company that wants you to pay your bills is not going to give you the same 3 months because you got the money coming that you're giving this guy. In essence, you were talking about out of your pocket giving them a loan. You believe in this person so much that you're taking $2,000 out of your pocket, putting it on the table and saying, here's $2,000, I'm going to loan it to you personally. That sucks. So don't jump to this close. But at the same time, is there a single one of you out there that wouldn't take that deal? Option A is no contract at all. Or option B is $1,500 now and the full contract, full construction phase, plus the other $2,000 in a few months. I don't think there's one. There might be one of you that takes this. It's your own values. I don't know. But I don't think there's one of you that would. But beware of just offering that off the cuff. You want to let it get earned in. Now, here's the more complex part. Here's where I'm going to lose some of you. And for those of you I don't lose, I just offended you and upset you, and I did not mean to. If they do not sign under this close within 1 to 2 weeks as a rule, again, are there aberrations? Of course there are aberrations. Judge everything individually. When I'm teaching, I have to teach a stereotype. As I say to y'all constantly, always remember, what is true of the group is not of the individual. What is true of the individual is not of the group. You have to assess each one individually on their own. But we're dealing with the group here, okay? And by that I mean, guy didn't sign for 2 weeks, but, well, you know, Jane's having surgery next week. Well, they must have a money issue. No! Hey, we're already scheduled for vacation. Let's do it when we get back. Well, that's, no. Again, whatever it is. Kids are graduating. I don't know. But Aberrations happen. Rule of thumb though, if they have not signed here, and I'm going to overstate something, but I want to make the point. If you have not closed them here, 100% guarantee you the reason they have not signed is money. Cash is their issue. Cash is their issue. Cash is their issue. Trust me, guys, it takes effort to contact you. It takes effort, not brutal. It's not, whew, man, I earned this. Yeah, we're not talking Save It Private Ryan. But it takes effort to go the trouble to ask you for information. So they went to the website. So they still had to say, I like this enough. I'm going to type in I'm going to give out my personal information. I'm going to type it in. I'm going to request it. That is not lightly done. Giving you my name, address, phone number, and email is not lightly done. Okay? It takes effort to research you based on the information you send them. Hopefully you send them enough that they felt respected and they bother to continue to look further in. But it takes effort to get there. It takes effort and time, of which our time and theirs is incredibly valuable, to come in and meet with you. If you have done a good job in the presentation, okay, and all that is gone, trust me, it takes effort and a lot of personal information to talk to the lender and give the lender enough information to get pre-qualified. That takes effort. You do not do that because, maybe I will, maybe I won't. You don't. It's too much work. Is it possible somebody went through it? Yeah. And a lot of you are going, well, it can't be money because they knew they didn't have money up front. BS. They always think something magic's going to happen. That's why people don't have money, but that's a whole nother story. I tell you true, they did not go through all that effort because they don't want to go with the deal. They did all that effort because they do. So the question comes in, if that is true, and they went through all this effort, and they got pre-qualified, why the heck won't they sign? I'm going to tell you why. Because they thought they had the money barely, but they had to buy groceries yesterday. And they don't have it. Now here's what I want to try to get in, and I have a hard time teaching this, so I'm going to lean in as best I can, okay? Come here, pay attention to me. It's a hard lesson, shocking lesson I learned. And I think the reason I learned it so well is it just shocked the heck out of me, like grabbing an electric fence. And some of you are going to think I'm an idiot. Why did that shock you so much? And it's probably just because it was so different from my own weird personality. Years ago, my lands, 22, 23, 24 years ago, I was working as a finance manager at Fred Jones Ford, downtown Oklahoma City. Oldest, biggest, coolest dealership they had. And I was very involved in the singles ministry at Putnam City Baptist Church. Phenomenal group. Fantastic group of men and women. Still friends with a lot of them today. One of them works with me today. Great group. But over time, we would always go out. Now keep in mind, I was making huge money. For a 25-year-old and a horrible month, and this is late 80s. We're talking 1989, 90, 91. In a crappy month, I made $5,000. And in a really good month, I made 10. I was making huge money. I saved almost all of it because I'm a tightwad cheapskate. And that's whole issues on my own psychology for another day. But we would always go, these were very hip. These were very yuppie young crowd. They were very, man, they wanted to go places, and I'd pucker. It'd be, we're going to the fancy Italian restaurant. We're going to the fancy steak place. So we're going here. We're always going to fancy, upscale, frou-frou restaurants. And I would just, man, if I enjoy the food better at McDonald's, and it's $1, and this is $25, but I loved the company. It was fun to have the drink, so I would go. And we all went, and everybody would just pay. Now, I paid, and I know I'm losing y'all. Please stay with me on the story. I'd throw out my credit card, because it's how it was just easier. But I had a rule. I put everything on the credit card like that, and I always knew I had enough money in the bank because I didn't put that much on. I paid it off at the end of every single month. I assumed everyone did the same. I never asked these people what they made. It was none of my business, but they were the ones dragging me because I'd whine and say, can't we go to McDonald's? And they dragged me to Bellini's and all the fancy places. But that's okay, cool. We would go. And they'd throw out their credit card. Half the time they'd be, oh, let me pay. Oh, all right. And sometimes I'd cover, but so we did. Now that is all. Everything they did said to me, extremely successful, extremely well-heeled, great, intelligent, highly educated, high-income people that are doing phenomenal. Never question. I'm kind of like, good gosh, how much money do these people make? Because I know what I make, and they scare me to death. But I just thought, man, that's incredible. Praise God, let's go on. I never questioned them. I never asked. It's none of my stinking business. Well, as time passes and people get to know you and know what you do, and they ask for, hey, buddy, can you have whatever, they would need a car. And they would come to me and ask for their help. And of course I would. Gladly. I'll get you a good deal. Glad to. That's what I did. Just like if you worked at, I don't know, Costco, I want you to help me load up my box of wine or whatever. But I did the loans. And I started seeing all my friends, all these big players, all these hip, cool, yuppie guys, and their loans, and I'd see their income, and I'd see their credit, and I'd see what today we would call a credit score. It did not exist then. And the first time it happened, my jaw hit my chest. The second time it happened, my jaw hit my chest. The third time it happened, that flash of holy cow. I understand something about humanity I didn't before. These folks made an average of $2,000 a month. And when they threw their credit card out, they were financing dinner. When they bought their drinks, they weren't paying it off at the end of the month. They were paying part. They were financing the rest, hoping for a big payday somewhere down the road. Come on, 7, come 11. And their credit stunk. And they could barely buy a car because they could barely afford it because they were living above and beyond their means. And I couldn't understand it first because our first reaction, yeah, will come up, is, oh, just some people are bad with money and stupid with money. But by the number 3, I'm like, no, these are intelligent people. These are capable people. These are good folk. And it hit me what the problem was. Pride. And not pride like, I'm arrogant, I'm good. No, pride like, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be ashamed. Pride as in the supporter of insecurity, the coverer of. I want to be the guy that doesn't make as much money as everybody else. I want to be the gal that doesn't know the fancy restaurants and doesn't care because life is just fun and carefree. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. So, you know what? I'll float it and I'll lie and I'll put on a mask and I'll act happy. And then I'll sit there and cry into my coffee or my water at the end of the month trying to figure out how to pay it. This is how these people lived. And here's the deal. They would rather literally be beaten with sticks than admit that. The look of, Bob, when they came to my office and they knew I knew, it was just horror, just fear. Keep my secret, man. Keep my secret. Don't. And they'd come in with their excuses and their lies and everything, but I could see in their eyes what they were saying, and I would say to myself, I get you, and my eyes would say back to them, you got it. I'm going to believe your lie and your flu you're saying. But the truth was they had to play, they wanted to play, and they couldn't afford it. So I tell you this, let's assume my old friends are your clients that went through the effort, that want to be with you, that want to sign, they're all this. Do you think these people, my friends, very intelligent, every one of them college degree, most of them masters, very good families, very affluent jobs, do you think these people are going to admit they don't have $3,500? Or do you think that they're going to buy something else and justify why it was a better deal, because I'll never say the difference was they didn't need $3,500, but this builder says a special financing program is just too good a deal to pass. Bull crap. What you're telling me is you didn't have the $3,500 because you knew we killed them. But they'll never, do you think my friends would have said that? No. If they did, they would have said, I'm with Bob. Let's go to McDonald's. No. They'll never admit it. Matter of fact, the one that most implies they got it, it's not a problem, it's something else, they're thinking over whatever else, yada, 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 is the one this is most true for. Methinks she does protest too much. God bless you, Master Shakespeare. It's the one it's most true for. Here's the deal. It's all money. Now, the question is, how do you close that? And it's not just offering, because I just told you they won't admit it. Their pride and the insecurities going with it are more important than your deal. Much more. They will go get the lesser, the crappier deal that props up. Do you think somebody would be in these straits because that wasn't more valuable to them? Good gosh, man, that's what matters to them the most. At least as relates to this area. So I don't need somebody to call me and say, well, that's not true. They care more about God. Of course they do. This is a different aspect. But in this area of life, that's what matters most. That pride that, and if you don't think I'm right, go find some financial information on the average person living in the suburbs of America. Okay, I could run down that road forever. I'm going to shut up and get off my soapbox on it for a minute. How you present this close is everything. Yes, you're going to have that rare client that is extremely open. You know the money's the issue. I think Harmony had one just the other day. Maybe it was Brad, but they get married and they're paying out the money for. I just flat told them, you know, all our money's there. We have to wait till that. Well, that's easy. You skip straight to this option. That's the old Boolean expression. If Abe got a bit, bing, boom, turn the page. We're there. We're going straight to it. But with that client that is one of my old friends that falls into this area, how you present it matters. And this, or some version of it, is how you do so. Number one, you have to take their pride and cover it. Protect their self-image. You call it pride, you can call it whatever you want, I don't care. Protect their self-image. You have to. Even if they know by looking in your eye you're propping up, which by the way, this close will always be done on the phone. But even if they do, you protect it, you pump it up. Guy in the car, oh, Bob, you know, I just had some expenses with the school debt. Dude, yeah, I totally get it. Been there, done that. Absolutely. Happens all the time. Boom, done. All right? I'm not going to argue with you over it. Done. What the heck? I don't care. It's, I'm not your dad in that situation. Protect their self-image. How to do that. My favorite is to debase myself first and offer as a favor to me second. By that, this is what I mean. I'm going to call Jim. And this is what I'm going for. Hey, Jim, this is Bob with you, Builder. How you doing, brother? Well, thanks. Yada, 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 side talk. Hey, Jim, I want to offer something because I can, but forgive me. I don't know if you're like me, and you probably are not, but I get kind of insecure saying this because I never want to imply anything, and I know it's an issue I have. If it's not common, so be. And by the way, by now, Jim's, oh, of course, because I've debased myself completely. Now I'm even going to debase myself further by insulting myself. Well, listen, if you're like me at all, and if this is helpful to you at all, you probably have or are getting ready to have at the next check the money to get started. But if you're at all like me, you've also got, man, I can't liquidate my account. I just paid for the kids to start school. I got Christmas coming up. And by the way, whatever time of year it is you get there. Had to buy the kids summer clothes. We got summer vacation coming. Had to get the athletic gear for football season. And we got, this cost of getting going with school and then the holidays coming. Had to buy new winter coats and we've got spring break coming up. Whatever, that's always there. And it's not, oh, I'm broke, oh, I'm bad with money. It's I'm great with money, but I care so much about my family. And I have these commitments to them. They're going to come and I'm really worried if I loved my family. Debasing myself. This is a problem we all have. It's common ground. I'm laying this in there with you. But of course, you're probably better than me, but I'm guilty of doing this. So if you're like me at all, that is there. So that said, if it is helpful at all, I can defer part of basically the majority of your planning phase fee to the end and just roll it in as part of the construction loan. I'm not saying we need, I'm not saying whatever, but this is, as you know, because we've talked, this is a fantastic time to get started. This is the perfect time to go. Costs are getting ready to go up. Interest rates are going up. Better to start now. And brother, I've looked at our plan. We've discussed your plan. You got tons of room. We have plenty of equity. Rolling 2,000 to the end is great. I mean, and don't take whatever works for you, brother, but if I could do 1,500 now and just put the other $2,000 into the cost of the home, and honestly, I've talked to the designers, and right now they're willing to do the same. I mean, we'd still have to come up with $2,500, but that's total everything out of pocket. You'll need no more. We didn't even roll the appraisal into the construction loan. Does that help at all? I just ran myself in the dirt, so his ego was totally protected. And man, does that help, but you're kind of doing it as a favor to me. That's it. Phrase it your own way. It's going to adapt to every client. It's going to adapt when you're talking to a female. It's going to adapt when you're talking to a male. It's going to adapt if you're a female or if you're a male. It's all going to go. They're going to interrupt you. It's going to go different, but that is the basic core thing. It has to be, this is something that happens to me. There has to be a reason why you can offer it. I don't care if your corporate's got a special. No, I despise corporate as a special. You're just offering it because you can. Well, how can you offer that, Bob? That's incredible. Not to be a putz, but we've had a really good month and we've signed more deals than usually. By the way, believe it or not, that is a turn on, not a turn off. People, it's the old saying, business goes where business is and stays where it's well serviced. People want to buy where other people are buying. That line is actually very strong close, and that's always the excuse I have for why I can do this if that comes up at all. I've had people break down in tears. How could you offer this for me? Now, granted, they've all of a sudden broke that window and were vulnerable, but they never do that unless they believe they can trust me in my heart to protect them as well. But that's a whole different bond, a different relationship. This close is realizing, and guys, here's where most of you struggle. Realizing they're great, brilliant, fantastic, wonderful, moral, ethical people that are lying their butts off about having the money. And they don't know they're lying to you. Here's the hard part. Here's the big one, guys. And I probably should have covered this earlier. They believe they have it. The reason that sells so well, that story about, but these things are coming up for the kids or for the whatever, or, taxes, whatever it is they believe that because they can't go to bed at night thinking they're a liar. You don't go to bed at night thinking, oh, I just lie all the time. But no, you believe the justification. And why? Because you should. There's a lot of friggin' truth to it. All right? But from your end, where you're judging, they're lying to themselves. That's okay. What I'm trying to tell you is not, hey, everybody's a liar, everybody's dead, oh, I know a secret on you. Absolutely not. What I'm telling you is, if they haven't signed here, this is the issue. And if this is the issue, this is the close. Protect their self-image. Debase yourself first, because you can't protect your self-image standing righteously above them. Offer it as a favor to them and make it the dollar amount that will carry. That one can be more difficult, because I will challenge you, once in a blue moon, accept 500 and defer $3,000. Very, very, very rarely though. And I mean, that's the extreme. That's the one you probably knew about before you got there, because there was something truly unique in the deal. Less than $1,000 and people will walk away from it. Keep in mind, we lose money on the planning phase. The planning phase is not a profit center. The planning phase's purpose is to get the people committed. Okay? They got to have enough skin in the game. It hurts to walk away. Less than $1,000 will not hurt. However, for this person we're talking about, $1,000 hurts. $1,500 is more. $1,000 for the designer, and you're pretty good. That's the chase. And by the way, why do I offer a discount on the designer? Because if they're hurting on this one, they're probably hurting like heck to come up with money for plans as well. And you got to figure that out. And if your designer isn't willing to do it for $1,000 up front and $1,250 or $1,500 part of the construction loan, smack your designer upside the head. And if your bank on a 1 deal out of 10 isn't willing to pay for the appraisal and then just roll it into the closing costs, then you just smack your banker upside the head. That's it, guys. 500 ways I could try to teach this. The main thing I was trying to cram through was, number one, the psychology of it, so you understand why you use this close. And number two, and I probably should have done a better job, how you go about it. You cannot call a person's pride. Their subconscious as well as conscious mind has created so deep and multi-layered levels of justification that you pull so much psychologically into question, they could not do business with you if you challenge it. You have to protect that. Now, you may be different than me. I am a all shucks, I'm a Lou Holtz kind of guy. That's my style. Do your own. It might be you don't really truly debase yourself in a humble all shucks, Jewish comedian kind of way. You might do it. You might be a real strong personality. It might be, Jim, but I just want you to know I've had a great month. And I'm not saying this is you or anything else, and I'm not saying you need it, but if it's helpful to you, I have enough flexibility that I can defer part of your signing payment to the close. Basically, if it's any help to you at all, because you need to get started, because interest rates are going up, cost of builds go up, we need to lock down that land, I'll accept $1,500 now. We'll defer $2,000 to part of the close of the construction and just be part of the cost to build the house. An extra 10 cents a foot, who cares? I'll even talk to the designer and make them agree to do the same and take half up front and half later. If that helps and that can get you there so we can get started, does that get us where will that get us where we need to be? I've even used that level of it, probably even a little bit stronger because I didn't get tongue-tied on myself. They want to say. Nothing wrong with either format. You have the extreme, I'm so sorry, which is kind of my path. You have the extreme of, I'm Superman and you're blessed to be Superman with me and I have this opportunity and this comes up. God bless you, perfect. Go for it, people. Both are fabulous. Be true to your own voice. Match your voice to your clients. But the close is still the same. The close is still the same. It is an option. It is an option to use. And it will add, I promise you, learn it, practice it, offer it. Are you going to be perfect the first time? Of course not. You're not even going to be perfect the 100th time. But I promise you, you will increase your sales by 20%. You just will. Maybe, depending on how you like to do your math, whether it's bottom up or top down, maybe even dramatically more than that. But you will close at least 20% more clients. And you'll have happy clients that are dedicated, that's served beautifully and everything's perfect. Last little caveat I will tell you, and I learned this the hard way. If you do this, your phrasing on payment is $3,500 for planning phase, $1,500 due upon the signing agreement, $2,000 due at the close of the construction loan, or in 90 days, whichever comes first. And you look at the client and go, look, if we're not in construction in 90 days, something's wrong. And look, I'm not a jerk. If you're, it's 91 days and we're set to close in 2 weeks, you build it's forcing me to pay. No. But there has to be an arbitrary number. And I also need to be very clear, you for some fluke reason decide to walk away, that money's still due. I'm still losing money there, and I can't just go, I'll take an even bigger hit. I mean, it would still be due. I mean, make sure you get that. Okay, yep, you betcha. Okay, all right, it's fine. Last little side note, there are a few of you that already do this close and you don't know it. And there are a few of you that do it and do it well, and you don't realize how it works or why it works, and you're totally unaware of it, and that's fantastic. Those are the ones of you that take credit cards. If you take a credit card, offering that option enables these people to hide it and fluff it and go there. I would challenge you, you may want to offer even to roll that into their construction loan to pay that credit card off or whatever if you have to, but I wouldn't. That is a very rare thing. Sorry, ask me about that person, we'll discuss it. But you're doing the exact same with it. I just don't take credit cards. I can't stomach paying the bank a fee. And for those of you that are saying to me, we'll charge the fee to the client, okay, you're right. Or agree to take credit cards just for planning phase, but not for construction phase. Again, okay, you're right. I will not argue that. It's just my choice not to. But that logic holds, and it does bring it up here. That's enough. Way too long. Hope you learned from it. We'll see you soon. Have a great day, guys.